Hi, Rumman. Welcome to Teen Talkz. So, to all of our listeners, I'll give a brief intro to who Rumman Habib is. So, he's a high school senior in La Martiniere College, Lucknow. He's a startup founder, entrepreneur, public speaker, podcaster, and a fitness influencer who also serves as the founder and the managing director of the Grow Group. Grow is a teen-centric educational platform run by students, and it releases content pertaining to health, well-being, self-development, and financial literacy. And it also provides internships to other high schoolers, which I think is amazing because it gives opportunities to everyone, right? So, hi, Ruman, how are you doing today?
Hi, Mugda. It's a pleasure to be talking to you. Thank you so much for that introduction. I think throughout the course of this conversation, we'll get to learn and interact more with each other and
Yeah.
understand about whatever we'll be discussing a lot more in depth. So, really excited and glad to be talking to you.
Yeah. So let's start with a basic question that you started your Grow Foundation at such a young age. So, how did you come up with the idea and what actually motivated you to take this journey?
All right. So, I wanted to do something of my own. I've been wanting to do something of my own for a very long time. The first time was when I watched The Social Network, which stars, which discusses the story of Mark Zuckerberg. So I've been heavily influenced by him in only the good aspects. So that was in grade seven. And I always kept on learning, reading about how you can start your own ventures, learning about these wonderful entrepreneurs who've managed to change the world for the better. So ultimately, what happened is in grade nine, I got together with a senior of mine, and we started this blog and Instagram page called Teen Fitness Club,
Okay.
where we posted, a lot of reels and informative content,
Yeah.
talking about how to, be a lot more healthier, how to eat better, what is nutritious food, and I have always been interested in self-development and finance and health. Right. So when this blog really took off, when this Instagram page really took off, I thought, okay, I've ticked marked a box on health. Now let's do something about finance and
Yeah.
self-development. So I never really planned on starting a podcast or like a very big organization where, we would have international students come in and intern with us. I just wanted to start a blog of my own once again because I knew that Mark Zuckerberg, before starting the Facebook, he had a blog, not very good one though, but it was still a blog. So right. So I thought, okay, let's start something of my own. So I
Yes,
started
I think starting is the first step, right? However
a
small.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I started this blog, and I call it the Grow blog because I my philosophy is that I should, or anybody who's associated with me in whatever capacity, whether that is of an intern or a team member or
Yeah.
my friends even, I want us to grow together. So I called it the Grow project, and then my first article was on the basics of investing for teenagers.
Mm.
So some people got together with me. They wanted to contribute to the blog. Then in 2 3 months, we had about 10 to 15 members who were working with us in the content team, in the design team. Then
Yeah.
a friend of mine suggested that I should start a podcast of my own.
Mm.
So then, as and when time went on, so we started doing podcasts. We started to get a lot more people. By the time that you're viewing this, the Grow project has reached over 4 lakh people in more than 30 countries, and about 180 people have interned with us throughout the
Yeah.
2.5 years that we've been working. Apart from this, we've podcasted with I'm sure all of you must have watched Kota Factory. It's an
Yeah.
amazing show. So
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to interview Alam Khan, who plays Uday in Kota Factory.
Yeah.
Then I interviewed this person called Hassan Kuba, who is an award-winning author from UK.
Mm.
I also had a chance to interview a career coach from Harvard Business School and a
Mm.
lot of other very prominent figures. So I've always been interested in learning and growing. So that's why my entire life is sort of focused towards growing whatever I have into the best possible manner. I want to be the best at whatever I do. I
Yeah.
want to take whatever I'm doing to the best possible manner, that it becomes something very significant. So throughout the 2.5 years, that has been my philosophy of how I started out and what I'm currently doing.
Hmm. It's so nice and it's so apt, right? The grow title comes from you growing consistently over these 2.5 years that you have done. And
Absolutely.
you've interviewed so many professionals and experts in their field. So what is one quality that you have taken or one lesson that you'll always remember?
One thing, okay, so maybe not one thing. I'll discuss about two things.
Yeah, sure.
One a little more focused towards your works sort of life, and the other one focused
Yeah.
towards your personal life. So the
Hmm.
first thing that I would like to, like, the first lesson that I have sort of taken away from them is, if you want to be the best at what you want to do,
Yeah.
how these people have gotten the best at what they're doing is by consistently showing up. There is no person who doesn't have the ability to succeed, to whatever they do. All you require is hard work. And trust me, it does sound very cliche, but public speaking has become some sort of a forte for me now.
Hmm.
But 3 years, 4 years ago, I wasn't a very good public speaker. In fact, so many people around that time when I tried to get into debating and public speaking, they told me, you'll never be a good speaker. You can't speak that well. But then again, I did learn as much as I could from books, from online courses, and of course through practice, by consistently practicing and doing these shows, podcasts, debates, and all that, through which I have been able to develop this type of fluent speaking, where I am able to present my thoughts in an articulate manner, right? So what my basic point is that anybody can do anything that they want.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to know how to get there with proper guidance and with proper dedication. That is of consistency. If you show up at your practice every single day, whether
Yeah.
you feel like you want to or not, even if you don't give your 100% every time, that's
Yeah.
fine. But if you get
1% every day.
Yep, if you get better 1% every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better. So,
Uh,
of course, I mean, that's one thing. The
mm,
second thing, which I was talking about, the personal sort of aspect,
yeah.
personal life aspect, would be the importance of trying to be a positive person. What I've noticed is that, and this is from Alim Khan.
Mm.
So one line he mentioned was, "मैं चाहता हूँ कि जो मेरे आसपास वाले लोग हैं वो खुश रहें." And that's a very simple thing. That, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not that
pretty
deep.
basic. Yeah.
Yep, it's not that deep. But when I've tried to implement that into my life, I have observed that the people that are around me tend to be much more happier, and when they're happier, I also become happy. And being a positive person, and if you're able to bring a smile to anybody's face, I think there's nothing better than that. So that's one thing that I think all of us could take away from. I mean, being firstly, of course, being consistent with our work, that
Mm.
helps us to become the best. But if you want to be happy and satisfied as well, then you need to be able to spread positivity and be a positive person yourself too.
So just the last podcast, right? I did with two guests called as the therapy twins. And the only one advice throughout the message that they gave us how positive things, positive affirmations that you give to yourself have a impact not only biologically they have a significance but also on you and your mindset and how it has changed their life. So I completely agree with you. I think being positive in everything that you do is really going to help you. So you said you had one almost 180 interns from so many countries. So how were you able to reach out to them? And I understand this process, how you have to monetize, how you get money in, and how you pay to them, and how was the whole process?
Right. So for I mean, now this might become a little confusing. I run something called, I mean, we like to call it the Grow Group.
Okay.
So it's comprised of three entities basically. The Grow Media Production, where we
Yeah.
post articles, blogs, and the podcast.
Hmm.
Then we have something called the Grow Digital Services, and and we have an initiative called Zaria, which is an NGO. So
Okay.
for the Grow Media Production, we've had about 180 interns.
Yeah.
Uh, Almost all of them are non-paid.
Oh,
So the people that have worked with me for Grow Digital Services, where we've interacted with clients,
yeah.
we've of course, that is a paid internship,
Hmm.
and that I think is one of India's first sort of paid internship by a student run company.
Yes.
But apart from that, the Grow Media Production, since the work comprises of uh, things like basic video editing, designing, content writing, script writing, editing,
Yeah.
digital marketing, right? Things of these sorts. So people get an opportunity to learn these different skills, and they get an opportunity to hone these different skills, because when you work with a collaborative team, you understand what your weaknesses are, you understand what your strengths are.
Hmm.
So the way that I was able to get these people is, in order to build a good team, you need to give them an incentive.
Yeah.
Why would they work for you? If you're
Exactly.
Yep, if you're providing them with money, that's good. That can be a factor. But then again, it's not always that you'll have a lot of money to start off.
Yeah.
In the starting, you definitely won't have a lot of money, maybe a
Correct.
little. So
Hmm.
in that case, if you yourself have a lot of skills and
Hmm.
you're able to help others who are joining you, who are helping you in your particular venture, then it becomes an incentive for that person to continue working with you.
Yes.
You have to be able to give back to the other person, give back more to the other person than what they're giving you. Only then they'll
Hmm.
be working with you for your any venture.
Yeah.
And as I said, I want my team to grow along with me. So the fact that they're growing as a person, they're growing their skills,
Hmm.
um, it becomes like a good thing for them to also join me, and
Yeah.
we work together
It's a
to.
it's a leadership skill, right? That not only you, but if everyone's growing with you and everyone around you is growing and happy, then it makes you a good leader. And I think the community gets stronger and stronger by with time.
Absolutely, absolutely does.
So you let's talk some things related to leadership now that we have come to it. When I was the head girl of the school, I had lots of challenges like managing students and this event and that event. And I am sure even you, as the founder of Grow, and even as the head boy of your school, face a lot of challenges every day. So what is what is your tip for other teenagers who are in the process of becoming leaders, or just general leadership advice for other teenagers?
So, firstly, talking about how I tackle challenges, I view life as a challenge, and I am a challenge man. So, I'm ready to take on whatever challenge you give me. But like a little more practical tip
Mm,
to other people would be believing in yourself. If you know that you and don't be afraid. The main thing is why people are afraid, or
mm,
why people tend to mess up, is because they're afraid to fail.
yeah,
Don't be. You have, I mean, and coming from a 17 or an 18-year-old, this won't make sense.
yeah.
But I have had a lot of experiences with not achieving what I have wanted.
I like to
And
interrupt you. I think coming from a 17-year-old to another 17-year-old is more believable than coming from someone elder, because we have shared experiences, right? So you saying something relates to us.
Absolutely. So I that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, of course, I mean, it hurts when you want to do something and you are not able to, even if you give your 100% for it, right? But life isn't final. It's not black and white. I mean, life is in gray, right? So you have to be able to look at the positives of everything. I mean, I trust me, I look at the positive of everything. You won't find, I mean, of course there are some exceptions, but I try to be as positive as I can be about everything, whether I'm having a bad day, whether I'm able to do something or not. I think of what positive can I derive from it, and then go, because the thing is, everybody will face something in their life that they do not want to. It doesn't matter if you are fit or unhealthy, if you are rich or poor, if you are very smart, if you're not smart, if you're successful or if you're not successful, you will always face a bad day. So how
Yeah.
do you go about managing that?
Correct. Correct.
By taking the positive and everything, and then you sort of become unbeatable, because if nothing can upset you, if nothing can make you sad, then how can you in fact be disappointed?
Mm,
And when nothing upsets you, you are able to think more clearly. And as a leader, it's very important to think critically and not emotionally. And
Yeah.
of course, these things do sound very fancy, but you learn these from experience. Nobody can come and teach you how to be a more rational thinker than an emotional one. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of um, problems and a lot of mess ups as well. But think
Some
of it in this manner:
mm,
if you face this problem now,
mm,
if you face a particular sort of problem at 17 years old, then when you're 25 or 30 and you're running your own company, you won't face the same exact problem then. So
yeah.
you're at an advantage by facing this problem today and at this
Correct.
present age.
Yeah.
So
So some people say it's inbuilt, but I'd like to disagree. I think it comes with continuous practice. And the more you expose yourself to uncomfortable situations, more you're going to learn.
absolutely. As I said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's any inherent sort of quality which we are born with or without.
Mm,
I have been a very active and I've liked to be at the forefront always, but I've not been able to do that always, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
I might have had that sort of instinct that I want to be a leader, but I've not been able to do that up till very recently. So
Mm,
it's either if you want the thing is, if you want to be a leader, then of course you it makes sense that you might have been born with that instinct, and you can hone it over time and be better. So um I mean, there's nothing that you can't do. That's what I believe.
yeah. So all the listeners out there, if you want to grow 2.0 or whatever name you want to do, here are the tips. I also think that financial literacy for teenagers has become more and more important, and there is so much exposure these days, but we don't know how to go about it. Let's say I'm a teenager and I have saved some money. What are the next steps I should do? How do we start with our journey towards financial literacy and investment and trading and etc.?
Okay, so I started with my sort of financial journey or financial independence journey, to call it,
Yeah.
around grade 9, where I mean, I've always interested in finance and in like learning how to expand your assets and your wealth.
Mm.
But in grade 9, it was 2020, I believe, and I mean, it was the COVID time, right? So I thought, and I had a lot of free time, so I wanted to get started with investing. Now, the problem that I faced was I didn't have a lot of capital because, of course, as a ninth grader, your parents are
Yeah.
not going to give you a lakh
That's
to invest
the
into
same
something.
problem a lot of us face. We'll have some money with us, but we feel that it's not enough to actually start doing something.
Absolutely right. So, you start. I mean, what I would suggest anybody who wants to get into investment is, even if you have 5,000 rupees, try investing that. Now, a little more practical sort of aspect of this would be, firstly, you won't get a demat account. I tried to get a PAN card for myself. I got that, but I couldn't still make a demat account because
Yeah.
you need a proper 18 above PAN card to get that. So maybe your parents or your elder brother or your elder sister, any person who you trust, you get them to make a demat account, and on their behalf, I mean, of course, it's your money. It's
Mm,
not that you're using your father's or your mother's account to invest. So just ask permission for maybe 5,000, 6,000 rupees.
mm,
Just try it out. What you do is fine, and I am not going to recommend you start off with trading because it is a lot more intensive, and it requires a lot more detail and
yeah. Mm,
intricacies, right? But investments, what you need to understand is that investing in a company which has a lot of potential for growth in
mm,
the future, you won't lose money. For example, I was in a recent interview for a particular internship. I was asked which stock would I like to invest in, and
mhm,
I talked about Tata Steel. So we had a debate where with and that person, the interviewer, was saying that Tata Steels is not a good option. It's going down. But what I believe is that uh, steel industry is not going anywhere soon, right? It's not
yeah.
collapsing
It's
anytime soon.
going
So
to
if
be
you
there.
invest in a very big name like Tata, and that too in an industry such as the steel industry, there
Mm,
are very less chances of you losing that money, right?
mm,
So think about it from a common sense point of view. Which companies you feel like will stay there in the future and will grow? You invest in that, and if you get a 12% return or a 15% return on that particular investment, you tell your parents, hey, I invested 5,000 rupees and I got 555, I got 555 rupees profit on that,
Mhm.
or whatever. So could you, if you trust me, could you please give me more? So that's how in small increments you start your investment and trading journey.
Yeah, thank you. I think everyone these days wants to invest but doesn't know how to start. I also suggest you should check out his blogs and podcasts. It'll give you more insight on this journey. Now let's go to some different offbeat questions. What are the three books you'd recommend to other teenagers or you've read recently? They can be anything, self-development, fictional, non-fictional, anything.
I used to read a lot of books, like 1 or 2 years, till like 1 or 2 years ago. Now I don't, because
11,
I
12 doesn't allow you to.
yeah, it hasn't. But I've been a very avid reader since maybe grade 4 or something. I've been reading fantasy books. I've read of course J.R.R. Tolkien and
Mm.
Mockingbird and Divergent and all these types of books. Then I got into self-development and finance. So in grade 7, I started with Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert
I've read
Kiyosaki.
that.
That's
Read
another
that.
book. Then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And those are the two books that I would recommend. I read those when I was in grade 7. So trust me, they're very simple. It's straight to the point. And then a little different book would be the Daily Stoic or any book related to Stoicism, because Stoicism is a philosophy which teaches you how to manage your emotions better, and to be able to be a good leader, to be able to be a good person. In fact, you need to understand how to control your emotions. You can't lash out on anybody just like that.
Yeah,
So any book, pick up any book on Stoicism. It's an amazing philosophy. It's a Greek philosophy, and you get to learn so much about yourself, about how to think of life, so that you can live in a better manner. So any book on Stoicism. So three books that I would
I'll
recommend.
try that. I'll try that.
Absolutely.
Then this is a tradition that I started from last podcast, and I ask you the question again that if you had an ice cream flavor in your name, it can even be a sundae, okay? It can be a mixture of everything. What would that include, and what would it be called?
I don't know how you'll take this, but I mean, I love vanilla,
Yeah.
and I would, I think, just in a cup, I would be like take vanilla and just name it vanilla, because the thing with this is it gives you a clean slate. If you, and it can be customized with anybody's preference, right? If you
Yeah.
like a lot of chocolate, you can add some chocolate on that. If you like strawberries, you can add that. So vanilla gives you like a clean slate of what you want to sort of have. So I think it can be shifted
Yeah, it
according to
works. It
everybody's
works.
perspective.
Vanilla. It gives you a clean slate. You can it's your canvas basically. So you can do
And you
whatever
can
you
paint
want.
it however you want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So thank you so much. Last question. What is your future plan for Grow and for you individually?
Right. So, with a lot of people I see nowadays, they start these ventures because of college applications, and then they,
Uh,
of course, close it down once they get into a college. I am not like that. I am genuinely passionate about the projects that I'm doing.
hmm,
So even when I am in college, I want to continue grow specifically. A lot of people have asked me whether you would like to or not, and definitely
hmm,
I think that Grow has a lot of potential. I'm not able to justify the potential it has by not being able. I think I don't work hard enough that I could be for my particular project. But as soon as I get a little time off my academics, and then once my exams are finished, I would definitely like to expand more. I mean, already like a few notable sort of achievements that we've had is that we're collaborating with IIT Dharwad as of present, and two colleges from Delhi University have.
see
I mean,
that.
I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they didn't know that this was run by teenagers, but two colleges from Delhi University approached us and they wanted us to hire their graduates. So I mean, that goes to show the potential that this project has. I just feel like I don't work hard enough for it, and I think I'll always feel like that. I don't ever want to be satisfied. I'm never satisfied with at least my end of the spectrum. I look for positives in whatever the other person is doing, whatever the work other person is doing, but I always feel like I'm not doing enough work. So maybe that's something that I'll always feel. But then again, I'll continue working with Grow to expand it, and maybe some person will look back and see that, okay, this was built by a normal person in grade 10, and if he can do it, so can I. And just like how I was inspired by Mark Zuckerberg, maybe somebody could be inspired by me. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we'll figure that out. Life has a way of making things happen in its own way. It's important to let life take its own journey. Rushing something which isn't meant to take place will only disturb the person's mental health. So taking everything with a pinch of salt, the good things and the bad things, and deriving positivity from all the things that happen around us. I think that's what's most important, and that's what I'll be keeping in mind for all my future projects and this one.
That's so good. And I think it's a lesson for everyone, not just teenagers, but for everyone to just let life take its own journey and to just give your best, right? There's only so much you can control. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And I am definitely sure everyone's going to learn a lot. And if there's some teenager out there who wants to start his or her own podcast/blog or whatever, they'll be inspired by you. And guys, please check out his socials and website and you'll know more about him. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mugdha. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I see that we have a lot of yeah, understanding and respect for each other, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for inviting me to speak here, and it was wonderful to talk to you. I'm sure over the course of the episodes that you'll be doing in the future as well, you as well as spreading positivity to your listeners. So you're doing a good job. Grateful to have a lot of people like you who are doing this. So thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.